Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily Intermission Podcast, episode 8 of season 2. Joined as always by my co-host Nate. And how are we doing today, my man?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good. Big football game last night. I'm sure you're not feeling particularly great about it.
Yeah, it's been a tough day. It's been a tough 12 hours. We'll get into it, but certainly, not the ball game that I was expecting. The Bills absolutely trounced the Patriots. But before we get into that, Nate, before we get into the football and the super wild card weekend is what they're calling it, we got some merch coming out.
Yeah, we do.
February 1st is going to be launched. We're really excited about it. I mean, there's going to be an extravagant, options. Amount of options.
There's anything you want, we got it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean,
toques, dad hats.
Yeah.
Snapbacks, hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeves.
Crew necks.
I mean, you name it. We got it. And this is kind of going to be the first launch. So we'll continue to design and continue to launch new products. But we're really, really excited. I know a lot of the listeners have asked for stuff. So hopefully, you can find a way to support us in some fashion, and we'll really appreciate it. So that will be launched February 1st. I know we're really excited about that. Nate, before we get into the Patriots and Bills, we talked about it a little bit through the week, but Josh Allen was complaining about some circulation issues.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you've probably seen the clip on our social media, but it's kind of crazy. I heard too. Apparently, it's like some pretty serious stuff, like the circulation thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly. Like, I'm no doctor by any means.
Yeah.
But apparently, it's pretty tough. But I don't know. I mean, he looked fine last night.
Yeah, I think he might have gone down the Viagra route.
He may have, because I mean, he was ready to rock last night.
He was flying. But yeah, I mean, you know what? All you can do is tip your hat, and I'm happy for Bills fans, and they climbed the mountain, they beat the Patriots. It's been a long few decades for Bills fans watching the Patriots go to a Super Bowl essentially every second year and win 6 of them, and they finally got it done. I mean, Josh Allen, I mean, like you said, he was just incredible. I mean, 5 touchdowns. His ability to run the ball and scramble was certainly highlighted, and yeah, I mean, their playmakers made plays, and man, the Patriots, they were an absolute mess.
Well, I saw that was the first NFL game in history that it was like a perfect game for the Bills. So they didn't have to. There was no punts. They scored every time up until like the kneeling at the end.
Yeah, 7 of 7 possessions went for touchdowns.
That's crazy.
But I'm going to talk a little bit about the Patriots side of the ball here, Nate. And I'm not an expert in football by any means, but I understand what's going on out there. I've played, in my days. And first things first, at the beginning of the game, Dawson Knox is running around like he's Jerry Rice. And the Patriots, and what that exposes for the Patriots is that we don't have a linebacker. I say we. The Patriots don't have a linebacker who can cover backs out of the backfield, cover tight ends efficiently, and really, make noise. I mean, you think around the league. I mean, they're tough to come by, yes, but Darius Leonard, Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner, these guys that can, not only, pass rush and be effective in the run stop, but they can run and be athletic and be fast enough to cover these guys. And the Patriots got exposed. They don't have that guy. I think, even just, spying the quarterback. I mean, Josh Allen was running around, as soon as he got free, he was gone. I mean, and you got Devin McCourty playing in the secondary. He plays like 35 yards off the line of scrimmage. It's like, I'm sorry, dude, but you got to come in a little bit. And what that did with Devin McCourty playing so deep is it creates this window in the second layer. And Dawson Knox was running free. And so, another guy, I want to talk about is Nelson Aguilar. Okay, your quarterback throws you a 50-50 ball. I get it. It gets picked off. Hell of a play by Micah Hyde. But you got to make a play on the ball. I mean, there's a plethora of receivers who can go up and make that play. And it goes back to the draft of N'Keal Harry. You take N'Keal Harry before guys like Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown. It's an absolute whiff by Bill Belichick, and that was on display last night. We didn't have a number one receiver to go win the 50-50 ball. The defense was terrible. No contain on the outside. You sit Chase Vunovich. You don't even dress him. He's a DN who can contain, can put pressure on Josh Allen. You don't have a linebacker who can cover in the open field. You got guys who can run stop, and the run stop, I mean, Devin Singletary looked like Walter Payton last night. It was an absolute shit show.
All right, I mean, a lot to unpack on that one, but that was a hell of a rant. That was awesome. That first touchdown from to Knox. Knox got the first one, right?
Yeah.
That thing was gross. I know you don't want to talk about this too much.
No, it was, man. It was. Kind of lobbed it above everyone.
Yeah, well, I felt like Josh Allen had so much time out there.
Well, yeah, exactly, Nate, because, the D ends on the Patriots couldn't contain him. And when he got outside of contain, we didn't have a linebacker who was athletic enough to go tackle him.
Right.
All of these guys are huge huge run stoppers, and they can't get out. And then you got your safeties playing 35 yards off the line of scrimmage. One of them has a club on his hand. Like, you've got a safety playing with a club.
So what's the move here? Like, what would you put on Belichick? Like, you're saying they're playing 35 yards off the safety line. So, like, why are they doing that? Like,
so they don't get beat deep, and so that's
okay.
So and it's funny because later on in the game, Emmanuel Sanders, you're playing cover 3, which so before the game, Jalen Mills, the second QB or CB2 on the Patriots, their second best cornerback, gets entered on the COVID list. So you're playing this Joe Williams guy. It's his third year in the league. Hasn't really panned out to anything, but he's playing cover third. So what cover thirds means, Nate, is that the 3 deep sections of the field are all covered by a DB. So nothing gets behind you. Everything is in front of you. Well, this Joe Williams character staring in the backfield. Emmanuel Sanders tiptoes by him, wide open in the end zone, gets beat deep in cover 3. It was just ridiculous, man. Mistakes made all over the place, and it's just so surprising to see a Patriots team play, such a mistake-filled football game. But you got to give credit to the Bills, man. Josh Allen is the better quarterback. They are the better football team. I mean, it's no surprise.
You had it on the calls too, like for the bets. Like you bet on Bills.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I just wish it was more of a football game.
Right.
And Bill Belichick's going to be disappointed. But all in all, the season for the Patriots, I'd call that a success. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback. You bring in a bunch of free agents. You make the playoffs. Mac Jones looked pretty good. And now you got to really reevaluate defense. You got to get a guy who can cover. Spy the quarterback, cover backs coming out of the backfield, at least, put some pressure on these tight ends. Because, their linebacking core got absolutely exposed.
I thought that was a good point you brought up there, too. But just like, it's kind of, they lose first round, and I feel like a lot of people will just jump down the throats of the Patriots. But it's like a good point because it's like, this is obviously like kind of a rebuilding team since Tom Brady left. So, like, I'm going to ask you, like, what was your expectation this year? Like, did you expect them to make the playoffs?
I didn't, no.
No, exactly.
No.
So, there you go. I mean, it's up and coming. Mac Jones' first season. Another thing I wanted to ask you as well, I believe I remember you saying this a long time ago, but you say when your team loses, you want that team to go on. So you're going for the Bills?
I mean, I've picked the Bills for a long time. Yeah, I would much rather see Buffalo and the Bills, go on a championship run. They lost those 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah.
And I hate the Chiefs. I hate Jackson Mahomes' brother. And for that matter, Jackson Mahomes.
And their father, as a matter of fact, is a bit of a coward himself.
Their entire family. But no, you know what? I would like to see the Bills go on a nice little run. I don't know if Devin Singletary is going to run the ball like that all game long.
That was outrageous.
But Josh Allen, man, he played so well, and if he can continue to play like that, so it looks like they're going to get matched up against the number 1 seed if the Chiefs win today. So they'll play the Titans, which I think they can beat. I mean, I'm not overly impressed by the Titans.
Bills?
Yeah, the Bills will play the Titans.
Yeah.
On the road. We'll see. They'll get to go to some warmer weather, so it'll be better for the circulation of Josh Allen's hands, knees, and genitals. And I mean, it's going to be exciting for Bills fans. I mean, you pass them out, and they looked determined.
Yeah,
they looked really good.
They did. You like to see it too. I'm going for them, man. I want to see him win. Like just what you said too, with the 4 Super Bowls in a row lost. That is just insanity to begin with. Like imagine
the heartbreak.
Oh my, you know what I mean? You get to the second one, you'd be like, all right, well, surely to God, like you know what I mean? It's like there's always next year. Then it's like, holy smokes! It's like, all right, the third one, we got this, right? Let's say the 4th one you lose. It's like we're never gonna win whatever.
Yeah, no, for real. But we'll move into the other game. Early on in the afternoon, and what a thriller that was.
I might have to go on a rant here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Want
me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'm sitting there, folks, and we all know how it rolls. I got the overtime games. And I had to bet. It was on one of the 2 Saturdays, so obviously I made the right pick for the closer game here. This would have been my 4th of the year, but we've got Carr. What are we on, the 15-yard line?
Yep.
He's got to just run it in, guy.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds left. Like, literally, there was
full set of downs.
No, yeah, exactly. Yep. Full set of downs. No questions asked. If he gets this score, there's no chance anyone's getting back. It is a tie. I win. We go to overtime. This dude is chucking. I knew we were screwed. Greg called it. We obviously streamed it last night. I'm sure a few of you were there. He's hailing these things just everywhere, dude. There's one's a muffin at the dirt, one's going past the end zone. I'm like, what have you got, Hulk Hogan in the backyard jumping off a trampoline trying to catch the ball? And then Greg goes, he's throwing a pick. And what do you know? He throws a damn pick, and my entire life flashed before my eyes.
It's
a joke.
It's unbelievable. And, we'll put it on Derek Carr. I mean, the guy's not clutch. I mean, he's just Mr. Mediocre.
Did you see how many people sorry to cut you there, but like so many people in the chat last night, they were like, well, he is clutch.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, well, he's not looking too clutch to me.
Anyway.
Well, there was just a lot of Raiders fans that were like, hey, like what? You know what I mean? But
like stop chirping him. But listen, so the offensive coordinator, okay, you got a guy named Darren Waller, and for football fans, you know exactly who I mean. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. He's a gigantic human being. Put him outside one-on-one against a corner and take 4 shots at him with lob balls.
Literally.
Like, man,
so true.
Trying to fit it in this window and, these with linebackers and corners and safeties, it's like Derek Carr's thrown into windows with 4 Bengals there.
I know. And he just doesn't seem like a guy I would trust doing that. And something that sketches me out the entire time I'm watching is these, like, balls that are, like, 4 or 5 feet in the air?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, it's a missile, but it's like, geez, it just seems so pickable.
No, for sure. I mean, anyway, those 50-50 lob balls. Anyway, I mean, it was...
Well, just like the one Josh Allen, like, threw to Knox. Like, it was,
No, exactly, for sure. You got to high point it, and you got to hope that your guys, going to get there. But listen, Jamar Chase, heck of a game.
Oh, man.
Joe Burrow and his chemistry was on showcase all game long. The Bengals look good. I mean, now it looks like the Bengals are going to be playing the Chiefs. And so, I mean, it could be a good game, man. Who knows? You know what? I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I think the Steelers will put up a game, but we'll see. I mean, people, the Chiefs obviously went on a huge run. Got the numbers 2 seed, but there was a lot of the season where they didn't look fantastic.
That's right.
Their offense was in shambles. Their defense didn't look great. So, man, we'll see. We'll see. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Well, exactly. And the whole first part of the year, everyone was like, at sell the farm, basically, remember?
Yeah.
Everyone was going nuts about them,
yeah.
so it's like, we'll see what happens. But what's the spread on that Steelers game?
It's 12.5.
12.5?
Yeah, so I get the Steelers to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds we get another, you know what I mean? I think it'll be all right. And plus, Big Ben laying the mental fire.
Yep.
So
exactly.
We'll see what happens with it.
And then Deontay Johnson came out and said all the haters, all the Pittsburgh fans that are giving us shit, don't come back once we win this game.
Holy smokes, man.
And they get Juju Smith-Schuster back this week, who's missed the entire season with a shoulder injury. So that'll be a spark slot receiver. But we'll see. That's going to be exciting. I mean, we day one of the wild card playoffs certainly gave us what we were looking for. So we get 3 games today, Nate, or yesterday, I should say, for the listeners. We got the Eagles heading into Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. We're on the Bucs.
Yep.
Minus 7.5.
100%.
We got the Niners heading into to Dallas. A lot of people betting on this one as an upset for the 49ers. I'm just not a big Jimmy G guy for obvious reasons. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd say, has an absolute terrible game. I think the Cowboys roll in this one minus 3.
Yeah, I'm on the Cowboys as well.
And then we're gonna take the Steelers to cover the spread. And the Sunday nighter should be an exciting game. And then we obviously have the Monday nighter Arizona at the Rams, and we're on the Rams as well.
Yep.
Nate, I did want to talk about the draft order because the draft order is now it's set in stone.
Jags back-to-back.
Jags back-to-back first overall picks. And obviously the Lions beating the Green Bay Packers final week took away that opportunity to have the first overall pick. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting what the Jags do here. You've got your quarterback, but now, I think O-line, I mean, this Kayvon Thibodeau guy from Oregon is an interior D lineman who can create some havoc and stop the run and put some pressure on the quarterback. But I don't really – it's always interesting to see which routes, you only get one player. It's obviously it's awesome that that you have the first overall pick, but when you need 16 different positions, you got to get better at a few of them. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we'll start to talk about draft and everything like that once it gets closer in April. But Nate, the interesting thing is the Jets have 2 top 10 picks and the Giants have 2 top 10 picks. So the New York teams, I mean, they've got an opportunity here to really turn things around and get some playmakers.
Yeah, just basically don't screw it up. I was going to ask you too. Excuse me, jeez. Oh my Lord. I was gonna ask you, what do you think the Jags need? Like, if you were GM of the Jags, who are you? Like, what are you targeting? Like, what position are you going for?
Yeah, I think in that first round, I think I'm going a lineman, either an offensive lineman, like a freakish O-lineman who's going to be there for 10 years and be the stud that's protecting Trevor Lawrence.
But is that kind of an odd position to pick first overall?
No, it's not.
No?
If there's a freakish stud, I haven't seen the prospects. No, it's not. I mean, they go top 5 all the time.
Okay.
There can be an absolute freak. usually a tackle, and yeah, I mean, we'll see. But I mean, obviously, you can't go wrong by building a monstrous defense as well. So
yeah, that's right.
So we'll see. I mean, I think this Kayvon Thibodeau guy from Oregon is kind of the renowned first overall pick. But I mean, these teams that have these picks, Nate, they're just so needy at so many different positions.
Yeah, exactly.
It's challenging to kind of navigate what you should address first. But also too, if I'm the Jags, like I'm gonna get him a weapon at some point. Get him a top end receiver.
Yeah.
In the second or
You
third
have
round.
to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the old NFL draft.
Oh, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Nate, moving on to the NBA. I mean, it's been kind of an eventful week. So obviously we know that the Raptors are playing at home with no fans, and the Suns traveled in to play the Raptors. I think early on in the week, and Devin Booker gets super rattled. The mascot's jumping around, kind of making a scene behind the basket when he's shooting free throws. He starts to freak out, kind of sends the Raptor to the other side. I was like. I was thinking, and a lot of the people are thinking, it's like, dude, like you've played some serious basketball games, and there's been fans doing. It's like there's nobody in the building, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a mascot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it kind of reminds me of what was it? It happened this week as well. Russell Westbrook. Did you see this? It was in, I believe, Sacramento, and they played every time he missed a shot. They played "Cold as Ice" by Foreigner.
My goodness. Well, he has been cold as ice.
Well, right. So
I love that.
It fits in pretty good. Anyway, so the league came out, and anyway, I don't know if he went to the league or whatever, but they have been the team. I want to say it's Sacramento, but I don't want to quote it.
It is.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, they have been hereby banned from playing that song.
Oh my god.
Which is just like
so that's two cases of being a mental.
Well, that's back to back there. I mean,
Yeah.
you got Booker absolutely upset about probably a 17-year-old kid, the mascot. So
Yep.
It's like, dude, you're Devin Booker, you're dating Kendall Jenner. Like, maybe settle it down and just shoot the basketball guy. You're absolutely disgusting.
So, Nate, if you were in an NBA playoff game, your front row seats in the crowd, like kind of like making noise, and what's your move? What's your move? Like you got the clappers. You can yell.
I don't know. I feel like in the NBA, you got to be careful, dude. Like the amount of people I've just seen thrown out. Like you got
That's
LeBron
right.
chucking people out. You know what I mean? If I got those courtside seats, I'd probably just.
You got Joel Embiid coming on, and like all of a sudden you're a squished bug on the court.
Well, exactly. It's like I'd probably just taken out my second mortgage in order to get these seats on the court. It's like, do I really want to get thrown out quarter one?
Very true. I mean, I'm pulling off something. I'm having something written on my chest. I'm shirtless. I'm getting the clappers going. I'm like,
I would probably just throw like subtle little chirps the whole time.
Yeah.
Like just to.
Just get in their heads.
Yeah, because then it's like, well, I didn't say that. But you know what? They're going to take the word of like LeBron anyway. I couldn't believe when he threw that guy out, man. I almost forgot about that. It's outrageous.
I know. And even when they jump into the crowd, too, that's a scary scene.
Dude.
Actually, I remember when Jason Day's wife, PGA golfer, she just got absolutely flattened by some, like it was a big man. I forget who.
Dude,
I think it was
big
LeBron.
man?
Yeah, I think it was LeBron.
Well, yeah, it's a big man.
Yeah.
LeBron, yeah, I know.
6'8", 250.
Trying to keep that ball in.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Ridiculous, man. It's so low key, like dangerous too.
Oh my goodness!
They just absolutely slam in there.
It's like an outfielder going in for foul balls and stuff.
That is lunatic vibes as well. Or like when they do the dugout and they just nail right at the waist and then they just flip over and then the funniest thing about
how do people not get just absolutely like season-ending injuries from that stuff?
That too, but you know what the funniest thing is when the guys go flying into the dugouts or the stands for the baseball, it's like they fly in, they catch it, and it's just like the ump is like way out, and then it's like anything could happen.
Yeah, it could be bobbling around, rolling around,
just picks it up
all of a sudden
comes up, pulls it out, it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
Throws the out. It's like, well, what? Can we check the ball? Is that even the ball?
Yeah, exactly. But no, Nate, the Knicks ended up making a trade this week for Cam Reddish. If you follow along on the TikTok, I got screwed by that. But yeah, they bring in former teammate of RJ Barrett at Dukes, Cam Reddish. So he should provide some nice bench minutes for the Knicks. I mean, they're a dumpster fire, but I do like the move. Now I'm like, let's get the trio back together. Let's get Zion in the mix with the Knicks.
Get the boys comfortable. Like Zion was an absolute freak at Duke.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Get that trio back together.
Oh, it'd be ridiculous.
It would be unreal.
Cammy Reddish.
Also some other news in the NBA. And James Wiseman, former number 2 overall pick for the Golden State Warriors. It's crazy that they had the number 2 overall pick.
Well, they went through that little stretch a couple years ago.
With the injuries and everything like that. But he's had a second knee surgery in December, so it doesn't look like he's going to be returning anytime soon. And he's a freak, plays the 5 position, the big man, James Wiseman, so he won't be returning anytime soon. So that's unfortunate for the Golden State Warriors.
They'll be all right, though. I mean, as long as they get to playoffs and he's able to come back, they're deep enough. They'll be okay.
So on Thursday, we do our best bets, Nate, and they're playing against the Bucks, and you hammered the under, which was a great bet. But, I mean, the Bucks... Dude, it was 60-20 at one point. I was like, what is going on here?
I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm screwed.
And I said I was screwed too because I had Klay Thompson over 13.5. He ended up with 11, but holy moly.
Well, I looked at the spread, or not the spread, sorry, but the over-under limit, and I was like, 225? I'm like, listen, I know these teams like can score lights out, but it's like, how much scoring can a team, you know what I mean?
There's got to be some defense played.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyway, it ended up being, I think total was 118 points or 117. So, I mean, it did get close. Or 217. Yeah, my mistake.
Like, wow.
I was like, holy smokes. Well, exactly. Like, I looked, it was like 65-30, like you were saying, and I was like, geez.
This is over.
This is done.
Yep.
Anyway, ended up pulling it out. Didn't get the DeBrincat anytime goal, but,
That's okay.
I'm on a hot start in January, though.
Yeah, you are.
Much better than December was going.
That's
I'll tell you that.
sure.
I was like 3-8.
I'm hovering around that 500 mark. I got to go for a 2-0 this week. But Nate, Damian Lillard out 6 to 8 weeks. He had surgery on his abdominals. This is a team, man, the Portland Trailblazers. They have been caught in no man's land. Like this, they're sometimes a top seed, like a 4 or 5th seed, but they're not good enough to win a championship. Who are we kidding? So, like, I mean, you got Damian Lillard saying he wants to stay there. Like, make some moves. Like, I hate, like, it's just such a cloud. We talk about these teams all the time.
Middle of the pack, yeah.
No man's land. Like, you got to go either one or you got to go one direction or the other. You got to say, okay, let's scrap this down. Let's go for some picks. Let's see if we can rebuild this thing. Or let's go for it now. You got Damian Lillard, one of the top point guards in the league. CJ McCollum's certainly, a great shooting guard. So let's bring in some studs and let's go for it.
Yeah, man, just go. Do it. Because, I mean, it's Portland. It's like, who's coming there in free agency?
Oh.
It's like, I would love to go live in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
I just need myself some snow in the northern west of the United States of America.
But I mean, they've just been caught in no man's land. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, this Fernie Simons, who we talked about the other week, he's been playing amazing since his grandfather passed and since that whole story of his 42-point game. But I mean, the Portland Trailblazers need to make some moves. They need to get more competitive if they want to go after a championship. I just don't know if they can do that. I think it might be time to scrap things up. Ben Simmons, obviously hasn't been playing, hasn't played a game. You haven't really heard too much about it.
No, it seems like the trade talks have kind of died off recently.
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds like the Sixers are now starting to package Tobias Harris, who, if you're a basketball fan, know that he's a heck of a player. And they might start packaging Tobias Harris with Ben Simmons, which you'd have to think they'd be able to get a fleet in return.
You would. So Portland.
Yeah, there you
go.
Sell
the firm, man. Or what is it? The Pacers too, right? They're trying to sell.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, somebody make a move for this guy. I'm sick of hearing about these trade things that have been holding on. Like it was the Aaron Rodgers thing in the NFL the whole offseason. Yeah. You heard about it forever. You got Ben Simmons. I mean, you've been hearing Kyrie Irving. Like, thank the Lord he's back.
Yeah.
It's just been like, let's get these guys moved.
Yeah, let's get them playing because they're good for the game. They're superstar players and
James Harden last year too.
Yeah, that's right. Wearing the fat suits. I mean, that was just ridiculous. But
that is so screwed.
I know.
Like that's what actually happened.
But moving on into the NHL, Nate. We got to take a moment and give our guy, our friend of the show, Drake Batherson, a huge shout out, man. He's going to his first All Star game. He's having a heck of a season, 30 points in 27 games.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And yeah, just having an incredible season. So he will represent the Ottawa Senators at the All Star game.
Very deserving.
But the headline, Nate, outside of or around the hockey world, when it comes to the All Star game, is first of all, I mean, there are some serious all-stars left out of this game. It's honestly unfathomable that Nazem Kadri, Roman Josi, and Brad Marchand. I mean, you can go on and on and on. I mean, there's just so many all-stars that are getting left off. The all-star game, and it's I love the skills competition. I'd watch that all day long. In terms when it comes to the game, they're not doing it right. There needs to be some changes made.
I thought they made some good strides with that 3-on-3, and like obviously they put in the incentive for the money. It was kind of cool the first time, but you can see the guys are still like now as it comes on, they're just still not
into it.
But it's hard because it's like you're not gonna just absolutely go balls to the wall in an all-star game, right?
No, for sure. But I don't mind like having a full-on game, like a 5-on-5, and have it similar to the NBA All Star game where it's like 25-19. And there's just goals being scored. It's just like a full-on game of pond hockey. Like I don't hate that idea, but there's got to be some incentive. Like you got to have the MVPs getting a bag of $1 million.
Yeah,
cash and
right. Just hold it out on the ice. He walks off with it. Give him a little danger.
There's got to be some, or the 3 stars. There's some incentive to play well.
Yeah.
Maybe have some sort of a bonus for the team that wins. I mean, there's got to be some more unique, options and brainstorming done with the NHL to make this game more attractive to the fans. But man, there's got to also expand the amount of players that are playing on each team because I mean this whole it's such a fiasco right now with the amount of people that are snubbed because you need to have your best talent showcased. Steven Stamkos is another one. Like you got to have your top names, top players playing in that game.
Yeah, and it's a shame too when you have like. Also, just to touch on, I really like the 3-on-3 in the All Star game. I love it.
Okay,
I think it's more entertaining than the 5-on-5 ever was. That's just one little thing, but I mean. You make a good point there with, like, obviously Stamkos is not there, which is obviously a huge name. And then you look and it's like, no disrespect to Clayton Keller. I mean, he's having, an okay year.
Is he an All-Star?
He is there.
Is he an All-Star? No.
Oh, well, exactly. Well, like, technically, yes, he is.
No,
but
exactly,
no, I see what you're saying.
Is Lucas Raymond an All-Star? No.
No.
Is Nick Suzuki an All-Star?
Well, Lucas Raymond could have been one a month ago. But he's been slow. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's like, and Nick Suzuki. Like,
no
this guy's half a point per game.
No shot.
And you've got guys like Marchand sitting home.
It's honestly insane. The NHL needs to regroup here, and I get that you want to represent every team. Well, maybe represent every single team in the skills comp. Bring in Nick Suzuki for an event.
No, that's a good point. Good point.
Bring in these guys and have them in the skills comp, and then have
a couple extras and have them not in the game.
Exactly. Yeah. Have the game be your top guns.
Yeah.
Roman Josi.
Yeah,
this guy
wild.
Is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's on the team with the most points in the Western Conference. And he's not there. He's the captain. He's the driving force of that team. It's
such a weird setup because then they have to take UC Saros as their representative.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, yeah, he's had a good season, but I mean, how do you leave Roman Josi? How do you leave David Pastrnak? How do you leave Brad Marchand, Steven Stamkos? These guys are outrageous.
Some of the faces of your league. Sidney Crosby.
There's an there's an outside chance maybe they just said, hey, you don't come anyway.
Exactly.
We're not even going to include you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's so wild to think that you haven't got Malkin or Crosby in an All-Star game right now. And they're both still playing. And it's not like they're doing poorly. Like, Crosby's doing fine, man. He's having a lot of people saying he's fallen off. He's got a ton of points. I think he's up right around a point per game.
Yeah. And, he missed the first 3 weeks.
Well, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but then you got Tristan Jarry as the All-Star for the Penguins. It's like, what?
It's
who obviously has had a good year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he has.
Oh, he has for sure. I think we can agree, Nate, that, there needs to be some changes made. There needs to be, this is just, we think around the leagues. The Pro Bowl is not very exciting. It's kind of
my God.
It's maybe the worst. But the NBA does it really well. The MLB does it very well.
Oh, the MLB.
The home run derby is just.
You can't beat it.
You can't beat the home run derby.
The dunk contest is probably close.
Yep.
But I like the home run derby better.
I would think so too.
I do.
But how can we make the NHL All Star Weekend more enjoyable for the fans, more of an opportunity to grow the game globally, and just make it a bigger spectacle? It'll be interesting to see moving forward the changes that are made, and we'll see.
What do you think is something they could do? I think of some of the events, and there are some cool things, but it just doesn't have the relevancy of like a home run derby or dunk contest. Like I think of hardest shot right away.
Yeah.
Is there something you could do with that to kind of make it a little better and a little more like mainstream?
Well, this is where it goes back to bringing in one representative from each team. Like, do I think there's an All-Star on the Islanders right now? No. Do I think that Chara is that I would gravitate to Chara shooting the hardest shot? 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and at that point too, it's like, okay, let's bring him in for the competition. Where it's like, how sick is Adam Pelech playing this year? Like, this is your big defensive shutdown team. This team is horrible this year. You know what I mean?
Another thing I think of, Nate, is where's the place to be on MLB All-Star Weekend for MLB players? At the MLB All-Star game. Where's the place to be NBA All-Star Weekend? the NBA players are all dressed up in their nice clothing.
They
and
want to be
also
there, and that's a weird thing with the NHL. Like, it's kind of gotten to the point where nobody wants to go.
Nobody wants to be there.
Yeah.
They all want to go down for their couple weeks on the beach and just enjoy the week off. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they're certainly lacking in the department of growth and making an enjoyable experience for fans. I'm still excited. Like
I like watching it. I love the skills competition.
But I mean,
but that's as a hockey fan.
We're also super fans,
right?
Of sports, and we're going to consume it regardless of what it is.
Is an NBA fan amped up for this? Like, I still watch the dunk competitions. I still watch the home run derbies, and you know what I mean. But it's like when it comes down to the casual fan of hockey that doesn't watch hockey, it's like you're not tuning in for the skills competition.
And even the NBA All Star game is fun to watch because there's just throwing up alley-oops. There's just no defense being played. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see moving forward.
Even for an outside perspective, just before we move off this topic, but you know what? Some of the events too, where it's like the saucer passes out of the thing. Like if you're someone who doesn't watch hockey and you go in there, you're like, what is this?
Yeah,
they're flipping pucks into a little net.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's ridiculous.
Anyway, we'll see.
Have a bit of 10 puck.
Yeah.
Have a bit of 10 puck going.
More shootouts, man.
Yeah.
More shootouts where the goalies are trying and not flailing around.
Yeah.
I see that a lot where the goalies are just like not trying or like something like that. And it's,
no, exactly.
Anyway, whatever.
I wanted to move on to because the Leafs, they've been playing really well lately. They're on a heck of a road trip. I mean, they got 3 points. They lost in overtime, obviously, in a big collapse to Colorado. They went into Vegas, beat Vegas. Then they beat last night St. Louis. So they've been playing really well. But on that tour, they lost to Arizona 2-1. They outshot Arizona. It was like 47-15 or something ridiculous. Yep. They controlled the entire game. This goaltender for Arizona, I don't know if I can pronounce his last name.
I was waiting for you to do it.
Is it Velmaka?
I was thinking it was Vejmelka.
But
that can't be right.
That J's got to be silent.
Has to be because that was the most Western pronunciation.
Yeah, we'll go with Vejmelka.
Vejmelka, yeah, we'll go with that.
But Vejmelka's been incredible, man. I mean, he's had a few other games. I saw he had a 1-0 shutout on the road in Winnipeg this year. I mean, he seems to be a nice prospect. But I wonder, Nate, like what a lot of other goalies have this. I mean, Tuukka Rask talked about it the other night in his first game back. It gets tough for goalies to stay in the game when your team's dominating, and then all of a sudden you come down and get a few shots after a few minutes.
100%.
Do you think it's easier for a goaltender to put on an absolute clinic when you're getting buried with 47 shots?
Maybe because I think
to get into a groove.
Well, not even that you get into a groove. I bet there's a point during the game where you're like, you look up at the score clock and you're probably like, oh my. You know what I mean? We've got 22 shots. It's like, dude, they can't possibly expect me to save all these. Like, these guys have got to get going. So I bet you almost get this little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you kind of relax a little more because you're like, okay, I'm probably expected to let one in. Yeah. So if I just, keep playing, it's like, whatever, I'll just do what I can, save as many as I can. But when I let one in, it's not going to be the end of the world where I put up 25 saves.
Yeah.
And that was with Vejmelka at the start of the year. The guy started 0-8-2, but he was just lights all season. Like, the team couldn't win in front of him.
Yeah.
Arizona, so...
Anyway, I mean, he's been an exciting, story for the Arizona Coyotes, and one of very few.
Got pumped last night by the Avalanche.
Yes, they did 5-0. Nate, I did want to touch. I mean, I hate always talking about my Boston Bruins, but 8 of 9, they are on an absolute warpath. I mean, you got to give Bruce Cassidy credit. The biggest move on this 9-game stretch has been moving David Pastrnak off the perfection line down to Taylor Hall. I mean, Taylor Hall's been playing great now. Pasternak's filling net. Marchand's filling net. I mean, this team is starting to look like they could maybe, not only be a playoff threat, but, they might be able to use this last few years of the window to go on a little run.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. What is the status on Krejci coming back? Is that a thing, or is that... that's not happening.
I mean, last time I heard, he came out in the media in the check, and he was a little rattled at Bruce Cassidy, putting Pastrnak down on the second line. He's like, he never did that for me. And it's like, well, you never really needed it, bud.
But still, at the same time, it's like,
sucks.
Give me something.
Same countrymen. I mean, they definitely had a lot of, a lot of chemistry, and they were definitely really good friends. But, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I know Don Sweeney likes to be aggressive at the deadline.
For sure.
So we'll see what happens there. Nate, I wanted to talk about just the current landscape in the standings. Do you see any teams that are having, success pre-All Star? Do you see any teams absolutely wheels fall off, tumble down the standings?
And I would have said probably at the beginning of the year maybe Pittsburgh slides out.
Yeah.
But they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was thinking the other day, I was like, the Atlantic to me looks set.
Yep.
You've got
those 4 teams going to be battling.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly what we had picked in our preseason rankings predictions. I think with Florida, Tampa, Toronto, Boston, which I think is going to happen for sure. I mean, a lot of people were saying like Detroit was going to get in over Boston. It's like, guys, it's 25 games into the year here. We got to absolutely pump the brakes on this. Like, this is not happening. The Metro, I think, looks pretty solid as well. What is it? Washington, Pittsburgh,
Rangers,
and Carolina. That was my preseason. I think that's. Oh no, we took the Islanders. We both took the Islanders.
I was high on the Islanders, which. And it's odd. They've played so many less games than everyone. They're like one game below 500.
They look brutal, though. I watched the game yesterday, right before the Raiders started, and oh my god,
But this is what we've expected for years.
I know, and that's the thing. And I knew something was going to happen as soon as we made our preseason picks. And I was like, "This is the year we picked them. This is the year it all falls off."
For sure.
I mean, they had some good runs with, absolutely no disrespect to anyone on that team, but. Next to nothing, man.
I know.
Next to nothing. Like you look at that forward depth, and it's just like it's Josh Bailey, Brock Nelson, Anders Lee. Like this is.
Barzell, John Pajot, Jean Gabriel Pajot.
They got Parise bumming around out there.
Parise, yeah.
Like it's
a tough scene over there. They got Kyle Palmieri,
right? Yeah. Who's just another guy I've never really been that set on, you know?
No.
He's just deadline guy. He gets traded every trade deadline.
Yeah, exactly. But Nate, we're gonna move into the PGA. It's the Sony Open. It's the first full field event, like we said. Both of our first one and done picks have made the cut, so we'll give a nice little round of applause there. We should play it. Let's play it.
Yeah. So anyway, back to
thank you guys. Thank you. We're 1 for 1.
Over the pool. And to any of you who didn't put your picks in, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? It's week 1. You got to be dialed in, and we'll give a shout out to a longtime listener, friend of the show, Alex Feldman, for picking Russell Henley.
Very impressive pick.
Awesome pick. He was on him pre-event. He was actually on. I was talking to him pre-event. Kind of going through, picking his brain a little bit. He was on Kevin Na and Russell Henley, which would have been both fantastic picks.
Yep.
Nate, I read a stat. So Russell Henley's leading. We got Hideki Matsuyama right on his heels.
Yeah. What's Matsuyama's as time of recording 16 and Henley's 18?
Yep, that's correct. And just there's some other guys in the mix. But Kevin Na has in the last 20 years he's got 11 rounds of 62 or better on the PGA Tour. That's 2 more than Tiger, 2 more than Justin Thomas. Just in kind of a sneaky good player. Kind of flies under the radar.
Big time. What was the tweet he came out to? He was going for 59. He was like on 59 hunt, and he's like, but 61's not bad.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, let's take it easy.
For sure.
But then Grayson Murray, I mean, a lot of people were talking about how Kevin Na likes to walk in putts and how he's such a good putter. And Grayson Murray said, well, a lot of people would be good putters if they took 3 minutes to putt. Anyway, it's Kevin Na came out and said you should be focusing on making the cut, not my putting. Kind of a flash, kind of a chirp. His Wikipedia page, Grayson Murray's Wikipedia page got changed to, his passing.
Died from Kevin Na.
Yeah, from
which
Kevin
is
Na.
something.
It's a huge milk.
I cannot believe that people are still doing this Wikipedia stuff. It has been going on for 15 years. One thing happens. It's like Tom Wilson. It's like the New York Rangers, and it's like owned by Tom Wilson. It's like ha 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 ha. Like it's not funny.
No, yeah. It isn't, but it gets some traction online.
It certainly does. It's an auto share.
It is.
It's an auto share.
But no. So we'll see how this pans out today. I think it's going to be a heck of a Sunday in the PGA Tour.
Yeah. Big sports day, man.
It's a massive
sports day. I am fired up.
But yeah, next week we're moving over to California. The California swing begins in La Quinta. It's the American Express Open. A lot of heavy hitters joining that field. I mean, just at the top of my head, we got Tony Finau, we got Patrick Cantlay, we got Scotty Scheffler. We got a lot of guys. Ricky Fowler's in the mix again. So we've got a nice heavy field next week at the American Express Open. So we'll talk about our one and dones. We'll talk about
feeling kind of Scheffler-y.
Okay, yeah, Scheffler. I mean, he's a heck of a player.
We'll see. So I'm gonna have to take a good scan. I can see a Sung Jae Im bounce back too, but I don't know if I want to burn him that early.
No, for sure. Well, Nate, it's our segment time here.
All right.
And we did guess the age last week. We are going with guess the nationality of the athlete this week. I'm fairly confident I'm going to stump Nate with a lot of mine here.
I think I've got a couple for you as well.
Okay.
And this is gonna be good fun. A lot easier to guess than the ages. Even though last video, as you seen, Greg obviously nailed John Elway, 61.
That's a prayer. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, most of them are.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm out here yelling 52 for.
Yeah.
Or 41 for VJ Singh. Yeah. 58.
But you were thinking 58.
I should have had it. Anyway, we'll go in. You want me to start things off?
Get her going.
All right, buddy. We got yourself a Branko Radivojevic.
Radivojevic. I'll say Latvia.
That is Slovakia.
Okay, Slovakia.
Not a bad guess, though.
Okay.
Not a bad guess.
All right, Nate. Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy. He's Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Nice try.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing? All right, then, Greg. Coco Crisp.
Oh, Coco Crisp. I'll say he's American.
Bang.
Yeah?
Nice.
Okay.
Yep. Good stuff.
Didi Gregorius.
Georgia.
You think American?
What?
Oh.
No, like that country, Georgia.
Oh, okay. No, he's from
that's wrong.
the Netherlands.
Wow. Okay, where'd you pull these out of? Mine, or at least half.
Didi Gregorius is a prominent Yankee.
I know,
Okay.
but like when you think of where's, I've never thought of where he's from. Michael Kempney.
Michael Kempney. I'll say Michael Kempney. I'll say Czech Republic.
Bang.
Okay.
Greg is 2 for 3 here, folks. All right, I gotta get a couple here, boys. I'm trailing.
Nate, we're going with Karl Vejmelka.
Karl Vejmelka. The goalie we talked about?
The goalie.
I want to say Latvia, but I'm gonna say Czech.
He's Czech.
Bah!
Yeah, he's on the board, folks.
Let's get it.
All right.
Alan St. Maximin.
Could I get the sport?
Soccer, plays for Newcastle.
Oh, my
Absolute
goodness.
freak.
Alex, I'll say
Alan St. Maximin.
I'll say Turkey.
France.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nate, Adam Svensson, PGA player.
Canada.
Yep, nice work. You had him too?
Yeah, my next one is Adam Svensson.
Okay, yeah. I knew it was Canadian.
Okay, so.
All right, Maria Sharapova.
Maria Sharapova, that's Russia.
Yep, good work.
Leandro Bolmaro.
Can I get the sport?
Basketball, Timberwolves.
Sorry, what was the name?
Leandro Bolmaro.
Okay.
He's a bench guy.
Oh, well, yes, I know.
Yeah. Does not play much. I believe 1.9 points per game.
Bolmaro. Belgium.
Argentina,
okay.
Yeah.
Nate, running back for the Carolina Panthers, Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, man. I was going to say USA.
It's Canadian. Yep.
Damn. That's tough. DeAndre Ayton.
Is he American?
Bahamas.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, Minnesota Vikings stud, Daniil Hunter.
Man, I'm just going to say USA.
Jamaica?
Okay,
Yep.
that's a tough one.
Yep,
That
for
is
sure.
a tough one. Fred.
Fred?
Yeah.
Is he a soccer player?
Soccer player, plays for Man U. Also known as Federico Rodriguez.
I'll say Italy.
Brazil.
Oh, yeah, they are the one name kind of.
Yeah.
God, I should have known that.
What is it? Neymar, Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
There's a few more.
All right, Nate, center for the San Antonio Spurs, Jakob Podol.
Jakob Podol?
Yep.
Let's say Slovenia, but is that right?
No.
Is it Czech?
No, it's Austria.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do that Jakob, but you don't hear that out of Austria very often. Amanda Nunez.
Brazil.
Yep. Nice.
C.D. Osman, player for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Can you repeat it?
C.D. Osman.
C.D. Osman. I'm gonna say France.
Let's try Turkey. Yeah.
That is a country that I don't think of in this.
No.
Turkey.
Yep.
Danica Patrick.
American.
Yeah.
Russell Knox, PGA Tour.
Oh man. I know this. Russell Knox. I know the flag is blue. I think is it Ireland? No. Scotland. Yes! Woo!
There it is, folks. That'll wrap up
go.
Guess the nationality of the athlete.
I'd say Greg pulled the win there.
I'm not sure. It was
Man,
close.
I don't know. You got Coco, Kempney, Svensson. Obviously, I'm gonna give it to you just because we had the same guy. 3, Nunez and Patrick. So I think you had 5 out of 10.
5-4.
5-4. Okay,
Yeah,
good run.
So we'll bring it back next week. So that's not bad. I mean, that's 9 out of 20. We'll
Yeah,
take
it's
that.
pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll take that runway. All right. Well, listen. We got the merch drop coming February 1st. Enjoy. Hopefully, Sunday was a fantastic sports day for y'all. We appreciate you listening, and we will be back bringing the heat for Friday.
See you then, folks.